gentlemen, this is Bob from BBD on this lovely Thursday, the 12th of November. This year's just gone like crazy. Some interesting and good news, I would think, if it's executed well. Maybe the government has finally figured out this is the right time to give the necessary impetus to the economy. The sectors that have been picked are absolutely pinpoint, and they are the ones that should get the shot. It's a place where India enjoys a serious advantage. It also allows us to take pole position in trying to get up there and try and at least become, not replace China as you can, but become a part of the global supply chain. It's a start. So what does it say here? Cabinet approves, Make in India gets a shot in the arm. Cabinet approves production-linked incentive scheme for 10 key sectors, taking the total outlay for such SOPs to nearly 2 lakh crores over a period of 5 years. Package to help enhance India's manufacturing capabilities and lift exports apart from creating jobs. I think this is good because you've got, obviously Uday Kotak saying it's a futuristic and progressive policy. The PLI, Kiran Mazumdar saying cabinet approves PLI scheme for 10 key sectors, a great fillip. And then even the Japanese president of Siam, Kenichi Ayukawa, says Siam welcomes the announcement of PLI. Japan is desperately looking for alternatives to China as far as auto components are concerned. So what does this do? It really gives a leg up, and that's true. It gives a leg up to India, set to emerge as global 5G gear manufacturing hub. Telecom operators and network vendors say 12,200 crores likely to spur 2 lakh crore to production over the next 5 years. That's quite true, but this might be reality. Gear makers are hopeful companies will opt for higher level of local value addition and spend more on R&D. Now this is key, more on R&D. This is the other important thing. I think this is another sector that I think it helps the auto, it helps defense, specialty, steel to get a leg up. Here's another place we have a great advantage: a growth formula for generics and biosimilars. Absolutely a critical area for India. Critical for agriculture, as we've always lagged behind in processing and wastage of fruits and vegetables. Incentive package to aid shift to packaged foods. Companies will be encouraged to set up production which will benefit consumers too, and more so the farmer folks. Analysts say incentives positive for key players such as Nestle, ITC, Britannia, Amul, MTR and Tata Consumers. Maybe we might catch the wind in our sails this time around if the government has got the timing right and there is no further delay in execution, right? But not only is the opportunity available to us now in becoming manufacturing supply chain, this is getting a huge leg up. The Japanese are wanting to invest, especially because they are the largest actually contributors to the requirements of supply chain besides the American big brands. The other is, there's also money being put into batteries, which are going to form the critical component of futuristic move into EVs and into solar power. So that is another place we can really tussle with China, because China has been, just remember this, China has been giving freebies to all their companies, and as a result of which they were a lot cheaper. The other greater area, in my view now, after what happened with Ant, is now you can really, by liberalizing the financial sector, whether it's bonds, whether it's IPOs, whether it is other financial instruments, actually now try and take that create an opportunity for all these big boys, whether it is you talk about Deutsche Bank, whether you talk about JP Morgan, whether you talk about Citi, Goldman Sachs, Blackstone has already made a huge leap of faith as far as India is concerned. And here is where I end this section with what Manish Sabharwal writes. The case for India lending. An Ant IPO drama exposes China's contradictions. As global economic gravity shifts to Asia, financial services entrepreneurs in India must be empowered to seize the opportunity, and government has to help. And as he goes on to say, the post-Mao Chinese Communist Party strategy of fill their stomachs but empty their minds has delivered incredible prosperity, but has irreconcilable disagreements with the individuality or ekla chalo ray of entrepreneurship. The opportunities for India arising from the coming Asian century, China's contradiction, and China's new inward focused strategy come not once in a decade but once in a generation. We gotta catch it. Xi is cutting his own feet by becoming a brute, by becoming an ogre, by trying to unsettle the global system. And this is our opportunity. Let's empower our financial services entrepreneurs to exploit this opportunity, folks. More after the break.
Hello and welcome to the new trend of 2020. These music glass covers are incredibly stylish and customizable. You can pick any song and cover image and we will curate a piece especially for you. They help make any empty space look beautiful and also make for amazing gift items for your friends and family. Visit our Instagram page to find out more and to order your own music glass covers now. We look forward to hearing from you and storing your favorite song in time and in a frame.
Welcome back, folks. A little bit on joining the dots, reading the tea leaves on the Chinese front. Timing is a little dubious and iffy, but let's see. Let's see what it's related to. Indian Army PLA consider scaling up disengagement. The highlights of the proposal include both armies retreating from their current actions in Finger area on the northern bank of Pangong. So, he continues to say, India-China consider broadening disengagement, talk to reset ties. I don't like this word reset ties. The ties cannot be reset. Not yet anyway. Right? And as it is, Times of India always takes a leap of faith and jumps as if we should jump back into bed with China. India-China close to pull back. Plan for Pangong-Chusul area. Agree to withdraw troops, tanks from key friction points. What gives a dampener generally is puts out in proper light is the Indian Express, the tone of it obviously. Commanders held one-to-one talks at Chusul Meet. China proposes pullback at Pangong. India considers offer. This is the right way of putting it instead of plans for Pangong-Chusul area to pull back. What nonsense is that? PLA ready to return to Finger 8, wants temporary no patrolling zone, seeks status quo ante on South Bank, withdrawal of tanks, artillery to depth area. Folks, you've got to figure out what is China's pain points from all these conversations. And if we haven't figured out, if Times of India hasn't figured out, if our commanders who are negotiating haven't figured out, then I think we've got a huge lot to learn. Because a normal person like me can see that, right? Their pain points are the South Bank, the Kailash Hill, and the heavy artillery and tanks of where it is. This should be the last thing we should disengage at all, if at all. Because at this stage, China giving us what we want is okay. What they're demanding is far more critical because it's giving us a huge advantage. And in my opinion, I know it's tough, but the Chinese are having it extremely hard. Two of their soldiers are getting, I believe, getting rogered where they are, right? Not to say ours aren't doing the same, but we are ready. We've got all the equipment, we got all the heavy gear from the United States and clothing. I don't think we should give up. This is my opinion. The Kailash ranges till we get into May. Because come May, there will be a run to the top. And most likely, China will make it there first, and we then will be left holding our sucking our thumbs. And we cannot afford to do that at all at this stage. As my friend was saying, right? India and China agreed to three-step disengagement plan in Pangong. It is disturbing since withdrawal from Kailash range by our troops in third phase is mentioned, but there is no mention of PLA's withdrawal from areas Bottleneck and Depsang plains that prevents our patrolling to points 10 to 13. Have we given up on Depsang by starting a new narrative? Have we chickened out? If yes, why? Or is it that their withdrawal from Bottleneck is yet to be agreed upon and that is why full engagement is pending? And how do we make sure that Kailash range is not occupied by them once vacated by us? We cannot forget what has happened to Doklam. People are watching. As he says, people are watching. This is a Facebook friend of mine who's posted this, an ex-serviceman called Colonel Rumel Daya. And I actually totally agree with him. And this is what I pointed out in my stuff too. That it is critical, in my opinion, to retain the Kailash range right up till April, May and start renegotiating at that stage again. More after the break. Folks, welcome back. International news with some implications on India. Interesting news, really. It says Karabakh today, Kashmir tomorrow. Is Kashmir's liberation next on cards for Turkish President Erdogan? You got to really we got to pay heed to this, right? And that's rightly so. Turkey and Pakistan continue to present a united front on multiple international platforms, have grown their military and bilateral ties to unprecedented levels. Turkey has fully supported Pakistan on its Kashmir position. And then it says, meanwhile, Russia, which played a key role in ending the war, swiftly deployed its peacekeeping troops after the agreement to the war-ravaged enclave of Nagorno-Karabakh. In contrast to Baku, the public mood of Yerevan, the Armenian capital, was grim. I'm just saying this quickly, then I'll tell you what I'm thinking about. The Armenian people felt cheated and defeated with their government conceding the war with Azerbaijan and giving up without a fight. And all keynote to here. Unsurprisingly, the crowds were seen waving the flags of Pakistan too, along with Turkey and Azerbaijan. Okay. Now here, why do I put this whole thing together? One, yes. Consider Kashmir in play. It'll be Turkey assisting Pakistan, China in the loop, because they're all making a khichdi out of this, and India better be careful. Why Russia? Russia threw Armenia under the bus, folks, and I've always said you cannot trust Russia. Put the USSR back. Who gave up the Pir Panjal for India was in Tashkent, and guess who the mediator was? The USSR. Guess who let us down this time and gave us wrong support and promises when he said that China was not amassing their troops and in the Tibetan Valley for targeted towards India. That's exactly what happened. This is a game. Russia can throw Armenia under the bus. They definitely can throw India under the bus. So you better be careful. What else do we have there, folks? India and Nepal in touch for border talks this month. Kalapani dispute unlikely to figure in working groups. How can this dispute ever figure in anyway? India is not going to be able. What are you going to do with this territory? We should just manage it together, right? What's another interesting one? PM to co-chair India-ASEAN summit today. Focus on economy strategic ties. The ASEAN now, with our stance that we've taken, and which I hope we are not pulling back in China, the message that has been sent very clearly is that India is able to take on China. And that's why ASEAN is opening up to us at this point in time. Philippines is a person in play, which has come into play as we saw negotiations happening between talks between our foreign minister and them on various subjects. There is obviously you have Indonesia. You obviously have Vietnam. India is in a good spot, sweet spot in ASEAN. We've got an opening. We should drive a truck through it. And while we are doing it, just look at what it says here. China's strongest ally in the Asia Pacific stalls defense deals, cancels massive infra project. China's strongest ally in the South China Sea, Thailand, is quietly but firmly pushing back against China. It has decided not only postpone the procurement of 2 submarines from China, but also shelved the Chinese proposal for building a canal in the Bay of Bengal, replacing it with its own project. And here it has openly said that the Quad countries are interested, and hence it is putting China on notice. Really good. What is happening here? All right. It says poll in the US continues to be in turmoil. Poll officials across US say no major fraud. What is Trump going to do, right? Then you have this crazy Chindaran Rajgata thing. Concerns about coup attempts as Trump replaces Pentagon brass. Just look at the kind of language that is coming out. A coup in the United States. But I am glad that Biden has basically played it cool. It's just for the sake of democracy. I don't like that. I'm not sure whether Biden is going to be good for us, but at least I know this much, that Biden is definitely going to be good to create a coalition of willing democracies. Jai Hind.